Hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of The Days and Confused with Diana Cano. It is I, your host, Diana, and I am here to talk about this very interesting topic. What you're looking for, it's not out there. It's in you. And hear me out, because I have a story, a very powerful story, that will hopefully be well received by you.
Welcome to the Days and Confused podcast with your host, Diana Cano.
Many years ago, the gods who created man reunited in an assembly to discuss the future of humanity. Humans had no use for their intelligence or used the sensitivity that they were gifted with. So the gods wanted to take happiness away from mankind. They thought it might be a good idea to hide it. That way, mankind will need to look for it and stop being so passive. The other gods loved the idea. One of them proposed that happiness be locked in a chest with the keys hidden somewhere else. But they didn't know where to put the chest or the keys to open it. And then one of the gods said that it would be the best to put everything under the ocean. But remember that they were granted curiosity and that they can build objects to retrieve it, pointed out the other gods. The god then thought that it would be the best to put it on another planet, far away from the earth. But remember that they were granted intelligence. One day they could build an object to travel outside the planet, pointed out the other gods. Then the god proposed to hide it at the top of the highest mountain on earth. But remember that they were granted strength. One could climb up and happiness would be found. After a long discussion, finally, the creator god had an excellent idea. The best thing we can do is hide the chest and the keys inside of them. Then they'll have to know themselves in order to find happiness. I first learned this story in my speech/oratory class, wherever you want to call it. This story has been engraved in my head since, because I have a beautiful photographic memory. So where did this story originated exactly? I'm not sure. There are conspiracies that it's an old Oriental fable. I obviously learning in Spanish, and my Mexican version of it was slightly different. Instead of gods, they were little duendes, the ones that were talking and discussing where to hide happiness. So I just took the liberty of doing some research and translating as best as I could. Regardless of the version, I do recommend you make some time to read it or to listen to it carefully. It doesn't matter if you're listening this at age 15, 20s, 30s, 40s. It is normal to spend a lot of our waking time searching for happiness. We are part of a fast world. We move from goal to goal, milestone to milestone, year to year, accomplishing new things. There will always be a higher level to tackle. There will always be more things to manage. There will always be something more to do. Personally, I've felt dazed and confused, and I am here to tell you that it is all a part of life. That we have to ride the wave to push through it. There is no avoiding these very uncomfortable feelings. And as we unlock our own happiness, I refer to happiness as something that we unlock, not something that we build, not something that we work towards, not something that we fake it till we make it. Happiness, it's perhaps the one and only feeling that has to be tapped in. The question to ask ourselves is not what would make me happy, but how can I choose to be happy with the current reality that I have, that which I have in the now? How can I then be happy with this situation that I'm dealt with? The power of self-love and self-happiness can be used as fuel to shift our lives into that next reality that we aspire for. Because in a world that is full of pain, shame, and criticism, there is power in working in synchronicity with ourselves. The universe is in a constant flow, ever moving, ever growing, ever expanding, and it too will meet its end. So wherever life is granted, that will be the end. So why not choose to unlock that happiness that we have from within, that it was given to us at birth, that we have possessed this entire time? We have only been conditioned to not look at it. We have been conditioned to buy it. We have been conditioned to fake it. We have been conditioned to a lot of things that are external because we think it's out there. We think it's something that we chase and we find and then we achieve, and everything will be better once it's achieved. But what if I'm here to tell you that you've had it the whole time? You are capable. You are worth it. And I know that it's not a perfect process to unlock that happiness, to start seeing things from a different perspective, to believe in that happiness when you're not complacent with your current reality. I never say that it was going to be an easy process. What I'm saying is that it's worth it. Accepting and embracing these feelings. So I invite you here today to ask yourself, how can I be happy with my current reality? I don't want you to overthink it. I don't want you to think like, oh well, if I buy this Louis Vuitton shoes, then I think I'll be very happy. Oh well, I think I need to travel once a month, even though my budget doesn't cover for it. Oh well, I think I need a third job, that way I can start making like the money that I want in order to buy this really expensive Jordans or whatever. I invite you to think in terms of non-monetary value. If nothing changes in your reality, how can you be happy with what you have? And I know that it's a really, really hard activity to even practice. Because when you feel and you perceive that you are in the midst of all that shit, and it's not a pleasant feeling. I know it's not going to be an easy journey. I know it's not going to be a pretty one at that. And I want you to see all those buts, but this, but that, all of that that's coming up in your head. You're probably already hearing that little voice like, oh, but blah, 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 blah. Like, it's not just such a thing. Blah, 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 blah. I think you forgot what it is. No. Pay attention to the limiting beliefs that will arise when you start asking yourself that question. Because that will be your answer. What's stopping you from being happy? It's all those limiting beliefs that you hold to be true. I will leave you today with that food for thought, my beautiful people. And I hope you do this activity because it's a very interesting one. You never stop learning. You never stop growing. You never stop practicing patience. There will be days that you feel like you're on top of the world. And there will be other days that you feel like the mud at the bottom of your shoes. Perhaps the journey was never to not feel, but how can we be better at feeling both emotions. Without the sadness and the misery in life, we wouldn't be able to know what joy and happiness is. That's just where I feel like I am right now. Perhaps that's a topic for another day. But today, I'll leave you with this. Thank you so much for joining me this week. If you enjoyed this episode, give us a like, a share, or a review on Spotify or any platform you're listening to us from. Make sure to subscribe so that you never miss an episode. And if you simply would like to tell a friend about the show, tag me. I would love to see your reposts and thoughts. Have a wonderful week. Sending you energetic strength your way, no matter what you're going through. I believe in you. So fight back.